Well, it's official. I've lost all credibility because I've either been paid by someone not to review Makita or I just hate Makita tools. Well, Charles 6768, credibility restored. This is the Makita Track Saw review. In all seriousness, we're gonna put this Makita Track Saw through the paces. I wanna make sure that it cuts accurate. I wanna know how powerful it is, and I also want to know how it stacks up against the competition, like the Milwaukee and the Festool. Let's go. So unboxing, this comes with two different boxes or sustainers similar to what Festool comes in. And the one box includes your charger and your batteries. And this charger is quite large, just two batteries sitting side by side. But it is a fast charger, has a nice fan built in, keeps the charger cool, and it charges up pretty quick. I do like the fact that they did include this box simply to hold this massive charger so you could carry it around if you wanted to or store it when you're not using it. So this is my first impression of the saw. I have not looked in here until now. A lot of empty space. Oh, that's nice. That is a nice looking saw. I appreciate a good looking tool like that. That's really nice. Inside the sustainer, there's just like a little plastic insert. I wish that was a little better, a little beefier, a little, I don't know, when you look at the outside of this box, you think this is gonna be super premium. It is, the box is nice, very similar to the Festool and even the Milwaukee Pack-Out Track Saw, but the inserts inside both of those are much nicer. So they have a nice foam insert to keep the tool padded from bouncing around, stuff like that. This one does not, just simple, crappy plastic tray. It does come with an instruction sheet. We're men, we don't need those. I'm kidding. As far as the sustainers go, you can stack them on top of each other and then lock them into place. These switches or locks actually have two positions. One on the bottom basically gets them out of the way if you're just using the box by itself, and then they do lift up and lock in over the next box on top. So you can stack those, move those around easily. The boxes are nice, I'll give them that. I just wish that, it's a minor nitpick, but I do wish that insert was a little bit better. I did pick up a 55-inch guide rail with this, even though my Festool tracks would work with it, my Milwaukee tracks would work with this. I did want to go ahead and pick up a Makita branded track, mainly because we give these tools away to our 2Before Nation members. More details about that in the description. Every quarter, and when I give the track saw away, I want to be able to give a track with it, but also to test the saw with the OEM track. Track is packaged probably as best as any track saw that I've reviewed. The way it's double boxed in here, everything's nice. It's not going to get damaged in transit without some massive problem happening there. You see it's like box inception here. It just keeps going. Track. All right, before we put this thing through the test, I want to go over some of the unique features of this saw that I find just really nice. Overall, the fit and finish of the saw is what you would expect at a saw this price point. It's on par with the Festool and the Milwaukee saws that I've used. Just a really nice overall saw. The plunge action is nice. It's not overly stiff. Some saws are like really hard to plunge. This is not the case. There is not a riving knife on there, but I've seen many reviews talk about it's really not an issue with the saw. So we'll see. Overall, I think it's a really well-made saw. A few things that I noticed that are unique to this saw that I haven't seen before. When you go to change the blade, or if you need to change the blade out, one thing that I like about this saw is this little swivel piece here. When you push down on the saw, you can just push that and it's going to lock it in place. There's not a bunch of buttons and stuff like that to push to try to get it to lock. Some of the saws, I think it was the Grizzly or the Triton, I couldn't get it to lock down. It was just so awkward to do. This locks right in place so you can access that arbor bolt. And speaking of changing the blade, underneath the saw back here on the back side is where you keep the tool storage to be able to change out those blades. Saw does come with a 56 tooth blade, so it should be really good for plywood or sheet goods, things like that. So maybe not as good for ripping. So if you're going to get into ripping boards, especially thicker boards, we'll see how it performs, but most likely you'll need a lower tooth count blade. As far as bevel cuts go, it does have, just like every other track saw, there are two thumb screws on the front and back that you can loosen to be able to make your bevel cuts. It does have a positive stop at 45. And one very unique feature this one has, I haven't seen on another saw, there's a dial right on the front. If you flip it vertical, that's a 22.5 positive stop. So it's going to give you a positive stop there. Really cool. I like that. And then if you need to go past 45, you can go to 47 degrees. There is a lever that you just push, and then it will go all the way up to 47. You can remove the lever back down if you want that positive stop at 45. And it will do -1 degree cuts too. And what's unique about that, there's two push buttons on the base of this saw. You push in both of those, and it drops down to that -1. And when you're done, it auto resets at 0. A really handy feature to have on a track saw is scribe cutting, so that if you're cutting sheet goods, you can make a scribe cut. In other words, you just barely cut the top of the plywood, or then you make a neck or any sheet good with veneer, and then the next cut you go ahead and plunge to full depth. This has a scribe cut feature, and it's just this little button right here. When you push it in towards the outer part of the saw, it will positive stop it at 2 to 3 millimeters. And then to do away with that feature, you just pull the little button back out and it will plunge to full depth. And speaking of depth, it does have a depth stop on here. This is in millimeters, so all the way to 60 millimeters up to 0 if you want to positive stop at 0 for whatever reason. It does work well. I actually prefer the ones on the Festool, the Rigid, and the Milwaukee that have the push button and slide. But as far as a single pole style stop, this works probably as good as any that I've tried. It doesn't stick, it's not wonky, and it just works well. This is able to be used as a standard circular saw. As you see, there's an indicator there that 0 is where you would line it up with the line that you want to cut if you want to use off track. But on track, you don't really need that, but there are some features here that you'll use on track. First and foremost, there's an anti-tip. So if you want to bevel over to 45 or 47 degrees and you worry about the saw falling off, some saws don't have anti-tip, or basically it's just a little piece that will stick out and lock into this track. This has anti-tip, so you can just leave it sitting like that and it won't fall off. When you first set it on the track, you'll want to adjust it so that it rides perfectly on the track. It's not moving back and forth. There's 2 black knobs on the outer side of the shoe. You just tighten those down until that wiggling stops, and then make sure that you can still slide it smoothly. But it's very easy. Probably one of the easier ones I found to adjust to the track. As far as the adjustments go, there is a nice clear indicator, and they are like pinpoint, especially on the bevel. You know exactly where you're at on that bevel degree. Some saws have like a really wide indicator, so it's hard to tell exactly where you're at. This one is not that case. It is really nice, really precise. This also is a variable speed, and this is 36 volts. In other words, it's using 2 18-volt batteries to power this saw. Now you'll also notice on the base of the saw there are 2 thumb screws, one on the front, one on the back. That has nothing to do with this track. There is an optional sub base that you can buy with this that will, basically it's like an edge guide that attaches to this. So if you're making like rip cuts of 2-inch pieces over and over and over, you could attach that to this. I like that they have that option available, especially if you're making those style cuts a lot. So this does use 2 18-volt batteries to power the saw. The Festool also uses 2. I thought at first, I was like, man, 2 batteries for one saw? It's not a big deal. It works just fine. Nice, powerful saw. One thing that I was wondering about on this saw was, will it, or can you power it with just 1 battery? Because the Festool will be, or can be powered by 1 battery, although it's less power. It doesn't provide as much power, but for cutting sheet goods and stuff like that, 1 battery works just fine. On the Makita, it's not the case. You have to have both batteries in there for them to be powered. One thing Makita thought ahead on, and which I think is genius, just the small things is what makes tools some of these tools so nice. You see right here the battery indicator is on this side, but when you put the battery on, you can't access that without taking the battery off. But they put a little quick view here where you just push the button, you can see how much power is left in each battery. I like that touch. All right, let's power this on for the first time and see what kind of power she's got. Ooh, blade brake. It stops super fast. I like that. I'm getting impressed. We'll see how it works. Hose test, let's see if the Festool hose will fit. This is always a bonus if it does, and it does, like a glove. Like a glove! All right, let's put this thing through the paces. We're gonna cut some thick hardwood, we're gonna cut some plywood, and then we'll compare it to the Festool and the Milwaukee, maybe the Rigid, and see how it stacks up against those. One thing I look for in a quality track is when I set it on a piece of stock like plywood, it doesn't move. It doesn't slip and slide around. In other words, the bottom of the track has a kind of a sticky feature to it. It's not physically sticky, but the material prevents it from sliding around. And some of the budget track saws that I've seen, this is an issue. Makita, Festool, Milwaukee, 0 issue. This is a really good quality track. When you first get your saw, you got to cut it to fit your saw. So what you want to do is slightly put it off the edge and make 1 pass. That will trim this rubber splinter guard up so that it matches your saw. You want to do that first. All right, first cut on plywood, right through it. I did make the scribe cut because that feature is available and it's going across the grain, across this veneer grain. And I wanted them to see how well that worked. Worked great. You put a scribe cut down, then I went to full depth and cut the whole piece off. This is one of the best, cleanest cuts I've had on any track saw. One thing that I was kind of worried about that I didn't mention because I was going to see if it would be an issue at all is this doesn't have that drop down splinter guard thing like the Festool and Milwaukee has where it drops down, and the Craig has it as well. It's not an issue here. Is it needed on the other saws now that this one cuts such a clean cut? I don't know. I like this one. And one thing I was quite impressed with was dust collection. It's good. You saw very little dust coming off of this. Hooked to the dust extractor, even without the port cover on there, which I always try to get those for these saws. My friend over at Whitworks makes those. I'll link in the description. If you've seen them on my other saws, that even improves dust collection that much more. But for this out-of-the-box dust collection is really good. That was impressive. I was actually seriously impressed with how powerful that saw just was. I thought because it had the higher tooth count blade on it, it was going to struggle going through this almost 2-inch thick walnut like butter. Super smooth. No issues at all. Again, the dust collection, absolutely phenomenal on this. And the cut square straight out of the box, I've not adjusted this saw. I've just put it on the zero stop from the factory was. Absolutely perfectly square all the way down through the cut. This is seriously impressive, cutting such a thick piece of wood with that higher tooth count blade. What that tells me is that blade's a very good blade. It's very sharp, and it just, out of the box, this thing was square, which I like to see. I did try a 45-degree bevel cut just on a standard 206, and I thought at first it was bogging down, having trouble cutting through it, but what was happening was, it was binding up because I didn't have it clamped correctly. This 2x6 was just a little bit too narrow to be cutting a bevel cut on. If I had a 2x8, it would probably work much better, or a tabletop or something like that. Now, once I got it set up correctly, it passed through it just like it was nothing. It did really, really well. As far as the bevel cuts go, that's where you see a lot of these saws struggle, is that bevel cut, because it's cutting so much material and it's accurate. It was a perfect 45 degree. I literally haven't done anything to this saw other than just move it to the positive stop and tighten down those thumb screws and make the cut. Can't ask for much more than that. Now, if you're in the market for a track saw and you don't know which one to buy, which of these top brands would you pick? You got Makita, Milwaukee, Festool, maybe even Rigid. It's not really in this line of three, but I have it on hand, so I'll show you the difference. This is probably one of the best track saws that I've used. You were right, okay, Makita fans, you're right. Is it better than the Festool or the Milwaukee? Well, let's compare them and find out. I'm still a fan of how Festool and Milwaukee do their depth adjustment because it is so easy. It's just a push button, one-handed operation, and this twist knob just adds a little extra while it's not hard to do at all. It works well. I just prefer the push button style and the way I can micro adjust these. So on the Milwaukee, you slide it up and down, and then right here on top, there's a tiny dial that you can dial it in, and if you just needed to dial it down a millimeter, or however you guys use those terms, a 32nd, 64th in the US, like you can really dial that in as precise as you want. Festool has something very similar with this knob on top. That's where you get the precision control. How much do I use that? Hardly ever, but I like having it there. The Festool does have the anti-kickback. That is not a riving knife. It's literally an anti-kickback, so when it leaves the track, gets pushed back off the track, it stops the blade. I like that feature, and I've not seen any other track saw do it. I don't know if anybody else does it. Maybe Mafel. It's a little out of my price range. The Milwaukee does have a riving knife, which I do like having on a track saw. It prevents the wood from pinching up behind the blade. So if you get a bowed up twisted board or something and it has a lot of tension in there and it's trying to bind that blade up, this will prevent that. Even the Rigid has the riving knife, which I do appreciate. The Makita does not have a riving knife, although on these cuts that I used it for, I didn't miss it. So it just depends on what you're looking for in a track saw, whether that's going to be important to you or not. Another consideration is battery platform, because the Festool uses 2 batteries. The Makita uses 2 batteries, but you can use the Festool with just 1 battery. It'll absolutely work. It just lower powers. The Milwaukee only uses 1 battery, so you don't have to fool with 2 batteries, and then the Rigid also uses 1 battery. And depending on the battery output, so in other words, like the M18 high output, I think they call it, these work much better in this track saw versus the standard M18 batteries. Same goes for the Rigid. They have some high output batteries as well. As far as the other features goes, these all 3 are variable speed track saws. The Rigid is not, so we're kind of leaving him out of the game here. There is anti-tip on the Milwaukee, but there is not anti-tip on the Festool. All of them offer more than 45 and less than 0 degree cuts, so 47 to 48 degrees depending on the model. 48 on the Milwaukee is the one that goes the furthest, and then -1 on the rest of them as far as negative degree cuts. They all 3 come with nice storage containers. The Festool and the Milwaukee are much better than than the Makita only because of the insert. The inserts on the Milwaukee and the Festool are very nice, very padded, well made. They're formed to fit the tools, so they're not going to bounce around and stuff during transport. I wish Makita did have that on there. It's not a huge deal, but it is something to consider if you're looking at these tools. So which of these 3 track saws should you choose? I'm throwing the rigid out because it's really not in this class, I don't think. You're looking at Festool, you're looking at Milwaukee, and you're looking at Makita. Which one is best for most people? It's a hard decision to make. The Festool does have that anti-kickback, and that's a huge feature. I like that feature a lot. The Festool and the Makita are very, very similar in power and features. I don't think you could go wrong with either one of those. One thing I will say is Festool's prices obviously are much higher than they never go on sale. So your accessories, your tracks, anything like that, you're going to pay top dollar for them. You're never going to get a deal on those. And there's not as many cordless tools in their platform as Makita and Milwaukee. You got a lot more choice for tools as far as using these same batteries on different tools in these other 2 platforms. That's why I think Makita and Milwaukee are the best for most people. Now, which one would I go with if I was buying only one track saw for the rest of my life? Well, I don't know. Probably Milwaukee, only because I already have Milwaukee tools. If I don't have any other tools, this Makita is a very good choice and just a very solid saw that's beloved by a bunch of people. You very seldom see anybody talk negatively about this Makita saw, and now I see why. It's impressive. And let's talk about the warranties here because that is important to a lot of people. The Makita has a 3-year warranty on this tool as well as the batteries. Festool has a 3-year warranty. It's an all-inclusive warranty, which I do appreciate. If you just wear it out, you use it so much it just wears out, they will replace it according to their warranty. And Milwaukee has I think a 5-year, if I'm not mistaken, warranty on their tools. One thing I do like about the Festool warranty is they have a 10-year part guarantee, so if that tool goes out of production, they will keep parts in stock for the next 10 years so that you can get your tool repaired. Pretty cool. If you like this video, you got to check out the Milwaukee Track Saw review right there. Click in the box, get you the big old virtual fist bump.